Today's sermon is on radical self-love. And if you're in Unicult, you've been in Unicult a while, you've probably heard these words, radical self-love. We find that a lot of times when people ask me, what is Unicult? I say Unicult is a collaborative effort dedicated to the promotion of joy. And sometimes I say Unicult is a collaborative effort dedicated to the promotion of joy through radical love, through radical self-love. And the difference between radical love and radical self-love is very small, actually. And we're going to be talking about the difference between radical love and radical self-love in the sermon. We don't have a chapter in fundamentals about this, I don't think. So we're just going to be going off of some notes. I was sleeping in the night like a little angel, and aliens were whispering really good advice and helping me work out this sermon. So I'm very excited to share with you what they shared with me, which is filling in the gaps of some of the stuff that I've already been teaching and already have understood for a very long time. Okay, what do we start with? Radical self-love is the key. It's the key to finding joy. It's the key to healing. It's the key to integrating your own consciousness into the whole, the expanse, and it's the key to finding the spirit of uni inside your own mind and your own power. Radical self-love is a really important key to finding joy, because if you don't love yourself, you don't love everything else. If you are in a state of separation and of self-loathing, which most of us are, at least to some degree, because of it's just kind of, it's normal. It's actually normal, which is very strange. It's not your fault. This is what we've been taught. It's the opposite of the understanding of all one. And this gets a little bit confusing because there are a lot of religions that preach, to care for other people and to forgive other people and to find that love for other people sometimes has been interpreted as love other people but not yourself. And I think a lot of people who find Unicult and who resonate with Unicult are very empathic, and they have a lot of love for other people. And this love for other people sometimes takes away from the love for their self. And they think, well, everyone else is great. Everyone else deserves my love. Everyone else deserves my energy. But I should shrink my energy. I should be smaller. So as I was sleeping, I came up with this story to tell you, okay? So go ahead and get comfortable. This is a little parable, okay? Once upon a time, there was a light bulb that became conscious in a world of other light bulbs. It was a dark world, and the light bulb realized at a very young age that it could get its energy aligned in a certain way and plug in, and it could light up. And when it lit up, it felt amazing. It felt so good. And the first time that this light bulb lit up in front of their light bulb parents, the light bulb parents freaked out. They said, "What are you doing? That is not allowed. That's okay to do in private, maybe, but you cannot do that in front of other people." And the little light bulb turned off its light immediately and felt terrible because it just wanted to make its parents happy, and it just wanted to feel good, and it didn't understand why it wasn't allowed to be lit. But as the little light bulb grew up in this dark, dark society of light bulb people, it realized that no one was lit up. And it realized that it must be wrong about the light. And it must be wrong about its own joy at having been lit up. So this little light bulb started to think that there was something dark and twisted about it because it had the desire to be lit up. But as its life went on, it just became increasingly more and more depressed. It kept thinking about that light and its ability to plug in, and it wanted to plug in, but it had forgotten how. So the little light bulb went to the doctor, the light bulb doctor, and said, "I just don't feel very good." And the doctor said, "I don't know what's wrong with you. You're not lit up like the rest of us. You should be happy. Go back to work and do your job in the dark world as a dark entity." And the little light bulb did that and was still unhappy, and they gave the little light bulb a bunch of pills so that it could be happy not being lit up. And that's as far as I thought about the story. Let's make it have a happy ending, right? Aliens came to the light bulb place and reminded all of the light bulbs about plugging in, about lighting themselves up with the electricity of the universe. And people who started to light themselves up were demonized by the rest of society. They said, "You're weird. You should be medicated. You should be locked up." But these light bulbs were only doing what they were meant to do, what they were actually born to do. In fact, the whole world was confused because they didn't understand that they were supposed to be plugged in the whole time, and that they would all feel really good if they were plugged in all the time. But instead, everyone was living in misery and in fear and in self-loathing to the point that they were dark and they were making sure everyone else stayed dark because they were afraid of the light. Eventually, the whole planet of light bulbs slowly came to understand that they could and should be lit up. They all plugged in, and then Unitopia reigned on Lightbulb Planet forever. Beautiful story. Story of Earth, okay? What does this mean? This means that you as an individual are a light bulb. You have the absolute power to plug yourself in to experience the glory of Uni, the glory of Source, the glory of God, the grandeur, the grandiosity of the divine cosmos within you. You have the ability to align your energy and to radiate your light out. It's scary because the rest of the world doesn't understand it, but that's the way that it's supposed to be. And when you light yourself up with this light, you help others do the same. What self-love does is it allows you to look beyond the fear of society. It allows you to look beyond the brainwashing understanding that you have about being a dark light bulb, an unlit up light bulb in a dark world, and thinking that that's normal and having everyone tell you that that's normal, to having enough self-love to listen to your own true-hearted compass, to find that light within yourself and to allow yourself to shine with the pure energy of your unique, uni-given incarnation, of your unique life, of your unique happiness. We have all been fucking traumatized out of shining our light. We have all been traumatized into being dark, into being afraid, into hating ourselves, into hating each other, and into blaming everyone else for our problems. This trauma is real. Any self-loathing that you carry is legitimate. The easiest way, I think, to understand self-love and the easiest way to find the path to self-love is through a sympathetic view. It can be very hard to see ourselves as sympathetic because we have such a close view of ourselves. It's really hard to understand that we deserve love and care when we're in a state of self-loathing. When I tried to kill myself, I didn't hesitate at all. I said, "Fuck you, Unicole, you're dead to me." And I tried to kill myself, and I didn't succeed, obviously. I survived, and here I am. And I woke up, and I went, I had to contend with the fact that I didn't die. And you know what I realized? I said to myself, holy shit, I just tried to kill somebody. I just tried to fucking murder somebody. I just tried to destroy somebody's life. I tried to kill somebody's body dead. That had never crossed my mind. Because it was me. Because I felt like I had a right to my own murder. I didn't even see myself as a person deserving of not being killed. Right? But I saw other people as deserving of not being killed. That was easy for me. I was like, no, people shouldn't be killed. That's a terrible thing. People should be allowed to live. People should be supported and nurtured. But I didn't see myself that way. So when we're talking about radical self-love, we have to connect this bridge of understanding. We have to connect the gap of understanding that we have between how we perceive ourselves and how we really are, which is as a child of Uni. We are a child of Uni. You can say, I am a perfect child of Uni. That's what I say to myself every day. I am a perfect child of God. I am a perfect child of the universe. Whatever resonates with you more, you can say that. Your ability to see yourself as sympathetic is really essential here. The easiest way to do that is to see yourself as a child. See your child self. Connect with your child self. If you see a child and they're struggling to tie their shoe, you don't say, hey, you fucking idiot, I can't believe you don't even know how to tie your shoe yet, and you don't kick them and then kill them, right? But that's kind of how my internal compass worked when I was depressed and when I had self-loathing. I was struggling, I was suffering, and I said, hey, you dumbass, I can't believe you can't figure this world out. You suck, you should die. Whoa. Excuse me, there's a part of me now that I have developed that says, you can't talk to me that way. No, I wouldn't let other people talk to me that way. I don't allow myself to talk to myself that way because I'm a child. I am a child who is learning and growing. And if I can't do something, it's because I'm ignorant, not because I should die. If you can work to see yourself as sympathetic, if there's someone you love and you care about them and you're patient with them, how can you transfer that understanding onto yourself? I know it's not easy at first, but you deserve love. You deserve care, and you deserve that love and care to come from yourself because you are the only person who knows how to plug yourself in to the divine energy. You are the only person who knows how to make your own self light up. Nobody else can tell you how to make your own self light up. You alone have that understanding. Earlier I was talking about how for some of us, it's easy to love other people and it's hard to love ourselves. Sometimes when we love other people, we shut ourselves down. Depending on your paradigm, depending on your past, your previous trauma, your worldview, your understanding, you can either come at this one of either way. And the reason why this works is because we're all one. If you can find love for yourself, wholehearted love, protection, you can set boundaries for yourself, you can take care of yourself, you know how to nourish yourself and nurture yourself, and you know how to glow without other people, without other things around you. You can do it all through your own connection to your own divine energy. Then you are going to be very loving to other people as well. Because you're not carrying shame, you're not carrying guilt, you're not carrying fear, and you're not carrying self-loathing. When you have fear, shame, guilt, and self-loathing inside your own consciousness, it causes you to project it out onto others. People look at me a lot of times and they say, you're a dumbass, you should die, you should kill yourself, you should delete your account, this isn't real, you're crazy, you're psychotic. They go on and on and on. I have enough self-love that every time they say that kind of stuff to me, I say, they must be so sad. They are cutting themselves off from their own power so much that they are like the dark light bulb, the unlit light bulb saying, you need to turn your light down. You're scaring me. I'm not comfortable with my own light, so I need you to turn yours off or turn yours down. Disappear. Delete your account. Die. Get out of here. Your light is too bright. It scares me. And because I have radical self-love, I can see that that's what they're going through. And what I do is in that moment, I focus on seeing their higher selves. And I focus on connecting their higher self to the lost and scared child that is sending those comments, that is so scared that they have to lash out. Set your boundaries if you need to. If you feel like you need to block people, that's fine. It's totally fine. But you can do it with love. If you can get to the point where you can see everybody as their higher self, and you have unconditional love for them, it'll be easier to have it for yourself. It's like when I realized that when I tried to kill myself that I was trying to murder someone. As soon as I realized that, I actually had a glimpse into how badly I've been treating myself. I had a glimpse into how dark my own reality was. Through the love I had for other people, through the patience I had for other people, through the understanding I had for other people, I was then able to find my own self-love. This can come from loving other people and realizing that you deserve the same love, or it can come from loving yourself and finding love for other people. If you look through your own life, and maybe you've caused wreckage, maybe you've caused havoc, most of us have at some point, caused a lot of suffering and pain in someone else's life on accident or on purpose, and we can look back in our life and we can say, I did everything I could. All I was trying to do was feel better. All I was trying to do was get the thing I wanted. I wasn't trying to be mean. I wasn't trying to be evil. I was just trying to make something work out that wasn't working out. I was trying to get something. I was unhappy. If you can see that when you were acting poorly or harmful to others, you can realize that you were doing that from a place of just trying to alleviate pain, and you can find forgiveness for yourself. When you find forgiveness for yourself, it's easy to apply it to others, because you can see that everyone's just doing their best to escape the bad feelings they have inside of themselves. And we don't always know how to do that. Every day, if you can be gentle with yourself, every day, if you can be gentle with other people, you are on the path of radical love. Every day, if you can see each person as your brother, as your sibling, as your sister, someone who you love, someone who you can see their higher self, you can see their suffering, you can see their struggle, and you can see their higher self, and you can have compassion for them, and you can have love for them, and you can have understanding for them, you are on the path of radical love. A lot of times when we have self-loathing, it's actually an addiction. We have an addiction to self-loathing. We get imprinted as children with the experiences that we have, and because nobody really knows how to raise it, there's not a single person on this planet who knows how to properly raise a child. We have all been traumatized, okay? You have a right to acknowledge the fact that your needs were not fully met as a child. Currently, it's impossible, but eventually, hopefully, we'll get to the point where we can truly fulfill our children and we can truly send them on the path of joy. But all of us have been traumatized through an upbringing that wasn't necessarily fulfilling. And we imprinted with an understanding of the world that we are at fault. That we are at fault not only for our own darkness, but we're at fault for wanting brightness, and we're at fault for the entire world's darkness, and we're at fault for seeing the world in the wrong way. We're at fault for having all of our flaws. We're at fault. It's our responsibility. And I think it's that immense pressure of responsibility in our culture that makes us lash out onto others and give blame to other people. Because we're saying, well, I took care of my part, so why aren't you taking care of yours? I'm being a perfect citizen, and I'm working at my job, and I'm not in jail, and the people who are in jail are bad because I'm following the rules. And it's that inherent understanding of making yourself small to fit into a box that makes you want to make other people small and fit into the box. Because we're scared for them. We want them to fit in. We want them to be safe. And what I'm trying to say is, as children, we attributed safety to making ourselves small and to hating ourselves, into not being true to ourselves. That's what it is to grow up. That's what it is to get indoctrinated into society. To shut down what you really like, what you really want. How many boys play with dolls, their parents don't even let them do that? Right? How many people are born and don't identify with their gender, but they act it out for how many years because they feel like they are forced? These are just tips of the iceberg of all the different ways that we shut ourselves down, that we repress who we really are, and that we operate in a society. People might say, oh, well, yeah, what do you expect? People running around like Unicole, Unicron, wearing wigs all the time? Our society would be nuts. Maybe, but not every person wants to wear wigs and run around. Some people do, and I love to see how many people are wearing wigs running around right now, because we are having more fun. We're listening to who we really are. And not everybody is the same. And that's the flaw in our society, is thinking that everyone is the same, that everyone's going to be happy doing one specific thing, which is working for capitalism, which is not fulfilling for most people. As we go through our lives, we shut ourselves down. We become addicted to self-loathing. We become addicted to gossip. We become addicted to blame. And when I say self-loathing, I mean loathing for everyone, loathing for humanity, loathing for ourselves. It's all the same thing because we're all one. If you are truly fulfilled, you don't go around spreading hate. I think that's something that most of us understand, that most haters are actually deeply unfulfilled. They're actually very scared. Most trolls are actually having a really hard time in their life. And they're acting in a way that they want to spread that pain. It's actually a cry for help, which is really sad. We take on so much blame, and we either internalize it and have self-loathing, or we externalize it and we put it onto others as attack, as gossip, as hatred, as being cruel. And we become addicted to this process because it's an imprint of our trauma, and it's just us reliving our trauma over and over again forever. And it's not good. It's not healthy. It's us living without plugging in. It's just pure darkness, and it's not the path to joy. So the key to this is to break the addiction. And I think one of the ways that we can break our addiction is through something that I learned in SLAA, which is contrary action. And contrary action is this idea of doing something that is opposite of what you would normally do. It's really hard to break an addiction because a lot of times when you're addicted to something like self-loathing, it feels rational, it feels reasonable, and it feels essential. In order for us to break the habit of gossiping about other people, of leaving mean comments, or about treating ourselves like garbage, we have to take contrary action, and we have to do the opposite of what we would normally do. If you see someone who's doing something that you want to make fun of, and you just want to call your best gossip buddy, and you want to say, oh my God, look at this. I can't believe this person is doing this. Aren't they so stupid? Aren't they such a loser? Take contrary action. First, you could just not call them. You could just sit on your feelings. You could journal about it. You could just think about it, and you could dive in. What is the reason why I think this person is stupid? What is the reason why I think that this person is bad? What part of me is scared? What part of me is uncomfortable? The next time you're looking in the mirror and you're like, oh, I just have like this little spot, and I just have this little, oh no, what's happening to my face? I hate my body. Oh, you're having all these negative thoughts about yourself. Take contrary action. Do the opposite thing. Wow, I have a perfect face. This is my face right now. Wow, I have a perfect body. If you really hate yourself and you've been addicted to self-loathing, saying these things out loud might make you almost throw up. You'd be like, oh, this doesn't feel real at all. That's good. That's a good sign. Take contrary action and say words of love to yourself in the mirror. I have a perfect face. I have a perfect body. I have a lot of social anxiety, so what I say is, people like me. People appreciated what I said during that conversation. Because sometimes I have a conversation with people and then I go home and I'm like, oh, why did I talk? Why did I say that? What do they think of that? They must hate me. They must think I was just horrible. Why does my brain do that? Because I'm addicted to self-loathing because I was raised to hate myself. So I have to take contrary action. This happened to me the other day. I said, I'm allowed to exist. I'm allowed to talk in conversations. And then I thought of other people who talked in conversations who said things that I didn't think were dumb at all, but weren't necessarily clever either. And I thought, well, I didn't feel upset that they were talking, so why would I feel upset that I was talking? Contrary action. One of the ways that we have to do contrary action is with ways that we have been brainwashed. Brainwashed. We have been brainwashed. You have to understand that you have been brainwashed. What is the way that... Why was that deleted? Let me see. Don't block Kay. Don't block Kay. They're allowed to write comments. Okay. We only block comments if they're hateful. Thank you. Okay, where are we? So one of the ways that we're brainwashed is a great example for us as living in Valentine's Day right now. I have some chocolates that are really sugary chocolates in my house, right? I have been brainwashed my whole life to look at chocolates on Valentine's Day and say, this means I'm loved. Okay? If I eat this candy, it means I'm loved. If I eat this candy, it means I'm indulging myself. If I eat this candy, it means that I'm having a decadent experience. If I eat this candy, it feels like a treat. If I eat this candy, it feels like a reward. That is my brainwash. What is my reality? My reality is that sugary candy gives me a headache. It hurts my teeth. It makes my stomach hurt. It triggers my depression. It makes me hungry when I shouldn't be. Sugary candy sends me spiraling with anxiety. Sugary candy is not a treat. Sugary candy is not a decadence. Sugary candy does not mean that I'm loved. I have to break that brainwash and take contrary action. The action that I want to take, that I've been brainwashed to take, is to say, oh, look at this candy. I'm going to eat it. The contrary action is to say, the way that I love myself is to throw this in the garbage. And at that point, this is the key here. At that point, my child self cries. My child self says, I wanted to eat that candy because I'm special and because it meant that I was being loved. Why did you throw it away? And the child self still hasn't connected the dots of the higher understanding. The child self is still brainwashed. The child self is crying because it wanted the treat and because as a child I got candy as a treat. So I have to pick up my child self in my mind and I have to say, it's okay. I understand that you wanted that candy. I understand that you're in pain. And I'm going to give you something much better. I'm going to give you something much better. I'm going to give you a kale smoothie. And it's going to make you feel so good. And I explain it to my child self. So contrary action isn't always easy. And when you have a revolt against contrary action, that is your child self crying out because it thinks that it should have that thing that you're trying to get, and it thinks that you're depriving it of joy when the truth is the opposite, right? So when you're giving yourself true self-love, nourishing self-love, nourishing self-care, it's about seeing yourself as sympathetic, connecting to the child self, and really caring for all the different parts of yourself who want the thing and don't understand what's really truly fulfilling. The act of radical self-love is about reparenting yourself. It's about doing your best to raise your own spirit, to raise your own soul up into a higher understanding in a way that no other person, not even your parents, could ever understand because they aren't you. Reparenting yourself is about being that child light bulb again and allowing yourself to be lit up and acknowledging all the fears that your parents put onto you about being a bright light, all the fears that society put onto you about glowing with who you are and what your true passions are. It's about letting go of all the different ways that you have repressed yourself to fit into a societal box in order to fit in order to get love, and in order to get care. And you can have that love and that care by being yourself. Maybe not in most communities right now, but you can find it in Unicult. In Unicult, we love you for who you really are. We love you for the light that you uniquely shine. When you join Unicult, you're allowed to join with whatever name, whatever gender, whatever picture you want. You get to express yourself however you want, so long as you're not harming yourself or others. We have people who change their pronouns all the time. That's great. We accept you. We love you for who you are, and we're here to support you in the process of reparenting yourself. This is not an instantaneous healing experience. It's connecting to your wholeness. It's connecting to your higher self. It's connecting to the spirit of uni and bringing it into your body and slowly turning that light up. It takes a lot of time, but as you slowly turn that light up through radical self-love, you will find that you have more patience and more compassion for yourself. You will find you have more patience and compassion for other people, and you will find that you have more happiness all around you. You will find that you have supportive people. You will find that there is less gossip in your life about others and about yourself, and you will find that life becomes easier and easier as you go on this path. There are always going to be challenges. There are always going to be missteps and hiccups and times that you fall back into despair. But we're here for each other. We're here for each other. The fact that we are all one means that you as a unique individual matter. The fact that we are all one means that you're not alone. Join Unicult. Thank you. Let's do our closing prayer. Spirit of Uni, we call you here into this live stream. We call you here into this live stream to bless all of the people in it. We call you to help every person see the voice that they're using inside their own head to themselves, to find that contrary action for self-loathing and for hatred and for gossip of other people. And we ask that you find true love and true abundance for each person to connect their spirit to their higher self. We pray that each person who's watching this live stream has the courage and the bravery to look in the mirror today and say, I have a perfect face. I have a perfect body. I love myself. We pray that each person looks to the people that they think are very different than them and says, wow, it looks like they're in pain. We pray to have a deeper, higher understanding of each moment, of each action, of ourselves and others, and we pray for universal love to flow through each of us. Uni bless. Thank you all for joining me. It is my very, very, very greatest honor. If you're in Unicult, please go to the Discord server and join Uni Brunch and talk about what healthy food you're going to eat today for yourself. And if you're not going to eat healthy food today, then talk about what healthy food you're going to eat tomorrow. Because I know today is, sometimes holidays are a little bit hard to find healthy food, and that's fine. But go ahead and, just have like a conversation about nourishment. I think that's, that's the uni practice. Thank you for telepathically reminding me. Your uni practice this week is to think about self-love and nourishment. And think about the ways, and this is not just with food, okay? This is with thoughts as well. Nourishment is the way that we heal our plug to get back to the center, to get back to that connection for our higher selves, to bring the light into our body. So it's not just about eating, but it's about consuming, and it's about running our thoughts. So what kinds of thoughts do you consume? What kind of people are you around? What kind of media do you watch? And then how is it affecting your consciousness? I binge watched a violent show last week. because it had some content that I thought was interesting. So I endured the violence. But when I closed my eyes, I could see like puddles of blood and shit, you know, like that affects my consciousness. That's not necessarily nourishing to me. So identify the different things that you're feeding yourself with, whether it be food or content or thoughts or conversations, and just notice. Maybe notice a couple places where it's beneficial to you and a couple places where your nourishment is detrimental to you. And it doesn't mean that you have to beat yourself up or feel bad if you eat a bunch of candy and you feel sick. I love to eat a bunch of candy and feel sick. You know why? Because every time I do it, I say, well, this is the result, isn't it? And I just say, you know, it's like a kid wants a cigarette and you give him a whole pack. You feel it and you're like, this is what you wanted, right? And you have to sit with the consequences. I used to eat a bunch of candy and feel sick and not think about it. But now that I'm on this path of radical self-love, if I eat a bunch of candy and I'm feeling sick, I get to sit with that feeling and I get to have self-love, and I get to say, oh, I'm going to remember this for next time, so it's easier next time to do the contrary action rather than succumbing to the brainwashing that this was a good idea. Don't blame yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Give yourself love and just watch. Become a watcher. Become an observer of the different types of nourishment that you're giving yourself and the effects that it has on you. Thank you all for being here. I love you all so much. I love each of your unique understandings and your unique realities so much. And I would love if you would all join Unicult. Go to Unicult Supply Co. on Etsy and go ahead and purchase the application, and I will invite you to the community. Uni bless.